Welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, this channel is about transformation at a personal, professional, and organizational level, taking it one step at a time, one bite at a time. Today, I'm going to focus on what I hear many of my friends and network people I've been working with, and those who just randomly, if they meet me in a conference or any public speaking I've had, asking me the question, how come it's so natural to me? I was born for it, and for them it's a struggle, not just to public speak, but also to show themselves authentically and just share what their thoughts in whatever environment they're at. So I took some time to analyze a bit and reflect on myself, my journey, and what helped me, and maybe what could help somebody else. Always keeping an open mind that not everything that works for somebody else works for us. So listen to this as you stay open to try things out and see what works for you. So when it comes to public speaking and to just show ourselves authentically there, it mostly has to do with fears and limits that we have ourselves and not really what other people think of us. So we might think that it is about others thinking of us something that we might feel judged for, but deep down it's really judging ourselves more than anything else. So what have worked for me, it's a couple of items, and I would like to split them into three different sections. The first one is the power of oneness, the power of believing that we are all the same. And we keep hearing this over and over, but what it is really about, it is about people who have similar beliefs, similar limiting beliefs, I would say, and others who just have some fears which might not be the same what other people might fear, but still it is a similar sensation of being afraid of something. So regardless what is scaring you, just remember that other people out there are feeling something similar, are feeling maybe a different type of limit, but it's still a limit. It's still something that makes them feel uncomfortable. I've noticed this in different groups I've been. I've noticed this in different programs I've attended, being those trainings, class, official educational classes, or just professional organizations I've been volunteering with for many years. And I've noticed that people in those environments feel very safe and they open up. I've been attending a couple of executive MIT courses, and I noticed there, even though I was considered the baby in the room when it comes to job title at that time, I was just the product analyst, whereas other students in these executive programs, because they are also very pricey, and I was lucky enough for my company to pay for me back in the days in Boston, I was facing other students who were like VP, CEOs, director level and above. So I was just a baby in the room, but at the same time, I was speaking up my mind. As I was having these exercises where we had to split in groups and share our breakthrough moments in life, I noticed one of that was sharing his story about her daughter being in a very bad accident when she was little, and since then his life has changed. That has impacted him a lot in the way he was leading people and the empathy that he was showing towards other people. I feel like that gave me a different perspective about executives of my own company, some of whom I was not very propense about, because I was always thinking, how come these high-level executives don't think about the people who are just going out there in different levels, maybe lower than them, what they were facing and the struggles that our customers were facing when it came to quality. Why are they allowing all these dysfunctions? Don't they care about it? Or are they just caring about their salaries? I was not very understanding. After that training, I felt like the next day I went to work, and even those executives that I was not so forward about, I felt like, what if that person cried last night? I could simply visualize that person crying last night in his own family, struggling with something. Maybe those executives were struggling with something at work. They had a different pressure. They had to think of way more people than our own little team. It made me open up and feeling like that safe space is also a space that we can create in different environments, such as our work or our own personal life. Being that said, again, it was not about accepting something that was not right, because I was still a person who would speak up if something was wrong, but it was being open about sharing and also listening back and hearing the other perspective and trying to understand what was going on for them as well. Realizing that they were also open to just share their own challenges when I approach them in a different way. And how can I help? Is there anything else that I can do? Do you have anything on your hands that is kind of preventing you from seeing what other people, this team specifically, is handling? And it was for me to hear that they were willing to share and feel more kind of in a safe space and remove their title hat and just share what they're going. It takes a lot of authenticity, it takes a lot of vulnerability and being okay with it. Not many people accept that, especially when I was living in US. There was this conception that leaders, if you want to be a strong man, and that's what I heard from many people, you shouldn't show vulnerability. But if we really listen to Brené Brown, professor in Houston, who talks about vulnerability and daring, it's amazing to see how being vulnerable, it's not about being weak, it's just about being human, accepting that and dealing with it and being open about it. And the more we are open about it ourselves, the more other people will feel free and will feel like in this safe zone to open up themselves. And once we see these similarities between people, then we're also open to create this space where we're giving. That goes back to my second point here, which is about help. If you're going to public speak, if you're going to just trying to show authentically because you want to feel good and feel like you are doing something that has meaning, you are doing something that is providing some value to somebody, you will do this when you are feeling this sense of contribution. And this contribution has to be outward. So if you focus to who am I going to perceive, what are people going to think about me, are they going to judge me, that is not like a lot of focus on giving. That's a lot of focus on self and ego and maybe what you consider like weakness, but it's really like your ego preventing you from delivering value. Because if you are out there to help, do you think about yourselves or do you just think about helping people? And if I think about my own life experience, if I focus on giving, I don't truly care about like how I'm perceived from other people, because even if it helps one person, my contribution is worthy. That's my intent. And I don't care what other people who might not getting value out of it think, because they are free to just ignore it, trash the information, and whatever. If there is some lessons learned, obviously I will be willing and very open and grateful to receive it. But if it's just for the sake of being judged, sorry, I have much more other things to do and value to contribute than focusing on that. So I think this focus on the other versus the self and the fears that you are feeling, it would be something that would help you to just come across your own fears and limiting beliefs. Now, is this so pretty and beautiful and easy as a process? No, it's not. And I don't want you to expect it to be, because maybe for some will never be. I don't want to say that just because you have a good intention and want to help out there and you feel their pain and you really have been there, you have gone through it on your own shoulder, so you know how it feels and you're really about helping, it doesn't mean that you'll just not feel any fear, any discomfort inside you. That is especially at the beginning, since the cave era, like we were born and raised in a way where our fight and flight response is very biological. It is very natural when we question our own status quo, or we're going out there to question other people's status quo. It will not feel easy chemically. We'll feel something that's discomfort. So we'll feel some sensation, some vibration, and the difference stays between those people who name that as fear and other people who name that as excitement. You might rename your fear into excitement. And you might also think that if I have this fear, am I going to just wait until this fear goes away and I do some exercises so that it goes away? No, maybe a power pose will help you to just stand up, put your hands like this and be in a power position. Yes, might be helpful, but at the same time might not even remove the whole thing. Do we need to remove all of that? No, because we can still contribute, we can still help somebody as we are feeling that way. And we also have to admit some people are more extrovert, more comfortable. It's kind of their second nature to do this, and some people are not. That doesn't prevent everybody from contributing and helping other people that are going through something similar. At the same time, though, it takes practice. So even for those natural people, like I look most of the time, it's not always, it was not like this all the time. I was raised, I was a very good student. I was very introvert, even though my friends and network doesn't believe that, because after age of 10, I was totally the opposite of what I was before that. So I was this very timid person, always a top student. I wouldn't even raise my hand when the teacher would come to interrogate me. And I remember my mom one time telling me, like, why are you not raising your hand? Your teacher said that maybe you don't know stuff, so she's not like provoking you. And I'm like, no, I raised my hand one time. She didn't interrogate me. And that's why I never raised my hand again. And so she went to my teacher back in elementary school and told her, please interrogate my daughter because this is what's happening. And she's a really good student. She studies a lot. And since then, my teacher, I noticed, started interrogating me daily. And I'm like, what is going on with this teacher? Why is she just interrogating me and not the other students? And she realized that I knew all the answers. And she continued for about a month. And then she put me like in a leadership position. And now here I am, 10 years old, leadership position. I wouldn't even raise my hand. And she was like, you're going to be our student ambassador. I was all about like keeping calm and quality. So I guess quality, since I now do continuous improvement roles, it was back in the day still in my bones. And she put me in that position. And what that helped me realize was also something that if you want to give value, you take charge. You have to do it. And as Mother Teresa says, don't wait for leaders. Do it yourself, person to person. That helped me be exposed without even knowing. We were in communism until I was 10 years old. So for me, it was not like a leadership position. I didn't even know what leadership is. It was about keeping all the class together. If they had any issues, if there was too much noise going on that was bothering people, I would be the person to do something about it. So for me, it was about serving. And that's all that mattered. But I do realize now, growing up, I'm aware that when people are put into these positions, they are faced into practicing these skills of speaking up and being unafraid to just be authentic and focus on value delivery. Since then, I've been a student ambassador in high school as well. I was in my master's. I was a president of the student association. Now that I'm doing a PhD, I started my own online student club because we didn't have anything for online students. I was always the person to just speak up, but always because I wanted to fill a gap where there was a need for a value contribution and serving and helping somebody who's struggling. So I guess, does that make me a natural leader, a natural public speaker, whatever? Like, I honestly don't really care. All I care is that some people have the guts and do it. Some people need a bit more of a push. And I would like to give that push to people to just deliver that value, not because it just helps other people, but at the same time, it is making them feel more authentic with themselves. And as you feel more authentic with yourself, you feel that you are having a more fulfilling job and a more fulfilling life, which is, at the end of the day, that's my goal with my life, with this channel, with everything that I do, and with every people that I meet. So I think if we really focus more into these three areas and take the time to practice them, we will feel in a way that we feel, and we try things out and see how it goes. It is not, though, a linear process. I've been in situations where I started my own newsletter on LinkedIn, and I started posting back in the days. I remember even deleting some of my journals the next day or after 2 days. I knew my articles were very strong. I'm very straightforward. If I see injustice, I would just go out there and say it. And I knew it will shake some worlds out there. And for me, it was fine, because I still wanted to protect the other people who are more in need and don't have this voice to speak up. And I felt like I'm the person who has the guts, so I will do it for them. So I kind of took the risk already, and I didn't care about that. But then I did feel the next day the energy, and some people not commenting even they knew it's right. And so I started feeling discomfortable. I remember back in the days deleting those articles maybe a day or two later. But when I went to read them, because I would always save them in my computer, maybe months later or even years later, I'll be like, actually, I was really right to write that. Actually, the experience is telling me that that is true. It's not just me bursting up about something. And with years, that changed. I was more comfortable. I'll just be more comfortable with my own skin as well. And as I've been, as I said, volunteering for many years in many professional organizations, I've seen what people go through. And I realized that it's not just my experience, it's also other people's experience. It's just that some people don't dare. They're not there yet. Not they don't want to. I feel like everybody wants to live in a very authentic way. It just needs practice. It just needs to find a strong why and a purpose. And some want to take that risk and some don't. And that's okay. Like, I think we just need to be aware what we surround ourselves with and continue to give where we feel our contribution is valued. So I hope this helps anybody out there. If it doesn't, just ignore it. That's fine as well. And I just feel like some people reached out with this concern, and I feel like that is all that I care about, that it helps somebody out there. I hope you also find something meaningful to share. It doesn't have to be on YouTube, it doesn't have to be public. It can be with your own small circles first, and then you kind of spread out even more if you feel like it. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.